The official UFC YouTube channel uploaded this video here titled Every 10-7 Round in UFC History. I'm here to argue that only two of these rounds could be remotely considered 10-7s, and one of them is only under one rule set. Now, before mouth breathers come in and say, you're disagreeing with the official judges' scorecards? Yes. If you're going to do your appeal to authority, anti-thinking for yourself, then skedaddle. Well, first, what is a 10-7 round? If you haven't seen my video on how to score an MMA fight, please go check that out. The definition changed after the 2024 rules. Now, all of these fights would have been under the 2019 rules, not the 2024 rules. However, I'm just showing that in the 2024 rules, they removed the specific part about a stoppage being warranted. These new rules make it harder to delineate between a 10-8 and a 10-7. The previous rules had, if a stoppage is warranted, it would be a 10-7, and that's good to distinguish it from a 10-8, which is just duration, domination, and damage. Moving into our first round, the first round shown is Ilio Topuria versus Josh Emmett, round 4. This was the latest 10-7 round given, and this fight took place in 2023. So like I said, these are going to be under the unified 2019 rules. Ilio Topuria achieved one knockdown this round. It looked like there were two, however, on the replay, they showed that the second one wasn't a knockdown. It was a forearm to the back from Topuria. Outside of one knockdown, Topuria won on the stand-up. He landed several damaging leg kicks to Josh Emmett. And towards the end of the round, there was a lot of heavy ground and pound from Topuria. People say that this fight should have been stopped. I don't fully agree. Actually, I completely disagree. At no point in the round do I think Emmett was done. Even when he was in bad positions, getting heavy ground and pounded, he would move out of them and at least defend himself. As for the score of 10-7, I don't agree at all. There was only one knockdown. The standard for a 10-8 is 3 knockdowns. With the heavy ground and pound that caused a lot of visible damage to Josh Emmett, I can understand the score of 10-8. I would lean towards a 10-8. However, I completely disagree with a 10-7. Here are the scorecards up here. Christopher Lee gave the third round a 10-8 for Topuria, which, to be honest, I didn't watch the third round for this video. And he gave the 10-7 for the fourth round. And as you notice, the other judges only gave a 10-8. So for those who are still watching that think, oh, look at this idiot disagreeing with the judges, only one judge scored this at 10-7. In fact, I believe for all of these rounds, only one judge gave them a 10-7. The title is slightly misleading. Technically, yes, the rounds were scored a 10-7 on at least one scorecard. However, were they 10-7 is a different question, which is what I'm here to address. The next round shown is Josh Emmett versus Felipe Arantes. This took place in 2017 in Poland. This would have been under the unified rules, and if I'm not mistaken, it would have been the 2019. The 2019 rules were being used around 2017. The definition of 10-7 was at least still the same from what I saw. If that's wrong, please somebody correct me. Here are the scorecards on screen. Once again, only one judge gave the first round a 10-7 to Emmett. The other two gave a 10-8. During this round, Josh Emmett was able to score 4 knockdowns against Felipe. The third and fourth ones particularly were pretty brutal, I would say. Arantes fell rather badly, felt like he was knocked out. I can understand the score of a 10-7 for this one. I definitely believe it was a 10-8 because of the 4 knockdowns. There's no question about it being a 10-8. 10-7 though, should the fight have been stopped? If you believe the fight should have been stopped, then I can understand going with the 10-7. The knockdowns were pretty bad. At the same time, however, Arantes wasn't unconscious like once he fell to the ground. He was up for all of them. I would personally lean towards a 10-8. I can understand if people want to give a 10-7. I don't think any of the knockdowns were particularly gruesome enough to have warranted a stoppage. The next round shown is Forrest Petts versus Sam Morgan. Now, this fight actually took place in 2006. I was unable to find the rule set that was being used at the time, so I'm just going to use the 2019 rules as a reference. If someone wants to correct me on which rules are being used, I welcome it. I also made a YouTube short about this fight. There were two knockdowns by Petts. The second one was pretty brutal. When Morgan fell, it looked like he was kind of out of it. He soon woke up. On top of that, Petts won the striking and had some top control and some ground and pound. I think a 10-7 for this round would be a little too extreme. Yes, the knockdown was pretty brutal. It looked like he was maybe unconscious when he hit the ground. However, Morgan did quickly come back. The first knockdown wasn't as bad as this one, and he didn't get knocked down for the rest of the fight. 10-7 seems a little too far for me. 10-8 is plausible because of how damaging the second knockdown was. I can also understand even just a 10-9. The scorecards for Petts versus Morgan were 30-27, 30-26, and 30-23. A 30-23 would only be possible with a 10-7, and since this is the round that they put in the video, it's safe to assume this is the only round scored a 10-7. So once again, only one judge scored this round a 10-7. The final round in this video is Khamzat Chimaev versus John Phillips. This fight took place in 2020, so we're under the unified rules of 2019. Khamzat got a takedown within the first 5 seconds and was able to control John Phillips for the entire round. This was a very dominant round for Chimaev. Per UFCstats.com, he is given 118 total strikes for the round to John Phillips 2. Chimaev dominated this round. This round is unquestionably a 10-8. However, I don't agree with a 10-7 under the 2019 rules. This is similar to the Emmett fight, where every bad position that John Phillips was in, he was able to get out of. I don't think the fight should have been stopped at any point. He was able to get himself to safety. Although he's only defending, that was what makes it a 10-8. I don't think a 10-7 is warranted. I don't think a stoppage would have been warranted. Under the 2024 rules, where it's a little more vague and it just says complete domination, well, it's probably the most dominant round on the ground we've ever seen. Under the 2024 rules, I could understand a 10-7. Under the 2019 rules, which is what the fight was actually fought under, I don't think so. For a fight that I believe had a 10-7 round was during the De Ridder versus Whitaker card, Stephen Green versus Mohamed Yahya. The first round featured 6 knockdowns, and as I'm showing on screen here, the final one of the round was extremely brutal. Yahya was arguably out. I'm not sure what Jason Herzog is doing here. This is a perfect 10-7. This is what a 10-7 should be, and even John McCarthy came out afterwards and said that the judges could have scored it at 10-7. Yes, I'm appealing to authority here. I will admit it. Anyways, thanks for watching, everyone. Check out my other videos. I will probably be making a pro wrestling channel soon as well. If you'd like to check that out, have a good day. And make sure to subscribe.